the Panama Canal to be very interesting. It was a whole day transit, so from the early morning till the evening. Because we were a smaller ship, we were able to transit through the old canal because there is a newly built canal adjacent to that. And it was very interesting to see how they moved this massive vessel in between slips from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. And then also to learn about the history of how long it took to build and all the people that died in the process of building it. So what they do is they move the ship into this one section and then they close the wall and then they somehow fill the slip up with water so that the ship can lift up and then move into the next slip. And then they basically do this process and it's a whole day process. Um, but very interesting and lots of lovely views to see during this transit. And then you can basically see the whole process from the ship. So, yeah, that was really interesting. The first stop was in Cartagena. Cartagena cruise terminal really surprised me because I only found out on the morning that there's like a zoo, I guess you can call it, right at the port. So you have to go through the zoo to leave the port, basically. And this zoo was so beautiful. It had all the birds, and as you entered the zoo, all the birds were waiting, and they greeted everyone, saying "Hola, hola." It was so fun. And then I also got to see a sloth in real life. And then I saw a toucan. Toucans are my favorite. Yeah, it was a real pleasant surprise. And if you wanted to, you could spend the whole day at that zoo because there's a restaurant and there's a shop where you can get some souvenirs. There's Wi-Fi. Um, so that was really cool. I've never experienced anything like this at any other cruise terminal. I never did any excursions. I just walked around. I was actually looking for conditioner because I only just found out that not all cruise lines offer or give complimentary conditioner because I was so used to traveling on Celebrity, of which they give conditioner. I just assumed all ships provide this, but Princess doesn't provide conditioner and they also don't sell it at the shop because every ship has a shop where you can buy products or things that you might run out of or that you might need. They didn't sell it either. So when I was in Cartagena, I was looking for a store that sold conditioner. And then I happened to make a friend with a Colombian lady that I met. She was from a different part of Colombia, but she was visiting a friend in Cartagena and her friend was working. So she was also alone. So we basically spent the day together. She couldn't speak English that well, and I don't speak Spanish. She used Google Translate on her phone, so we were able to converse for the whole day through her phone through Google Translate. And we walked around together, and we went for lunch at this rooftop pool, and it was very nice to get to know her and spend the day with her. And then the next port stop was Huatulco, Mexico, and I love Mexico. And this was also a very interesting stop. It had a nice hike that you could do because it was on the mountain. And then I hiked to this one secluded beach called Violin Beach. It was really beautiful. And I was the only person there. Chilled there for a bit, went for a quick dip. And then I hiked to another beach called Playa Entraga or Entrega. And I spent the day here. Um, I also had a cocktail and then I went snorkeling. I actually brought I had my own snorkel. So I just spent the rest of the day snorkeling at this beach. And then I hiked back to the ship. And then the next stop was Puntarenas, Costa Rica. And this was also a very nice stop. I could use the Wi-Fi here. And it also had a lovely beach. And it was lovely to walk around in the town. And the sand was black because of a volcanic activity in this area. It was super hot in Costa Rica. So I spent the whole day swimming in the ocean and relaxing on the sand. I also walked to the end of the strip just to get some exercise and saw a lighthouse. And then I also saw that a majority of the crew members also decided to get off at this port and enjoy the beach. So it was a really nice, chilled, relaxing day. And there were also a lot of vendors selling street food and drinks. I think I spent about $5 just staying hydrated. So it was nice to just spend the day at this beach. The next stop was Puerto Vallarta. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Vallarta. And this was a very big port. Lots of things to see and do, different excursions. I was trying not to spend any money. So I found out that you could take a bus to the beach. And one of the locals that I had met at the port was kind enough to give me Mexican pesos coins that I could use for the bus. And then it was a quick 15-minute bus ride. And then I ended up spending the day at this one lovely beach and also just walking around in that town. There were lots of vendors selling things, and there was this one lady offering massages. I ended up having a massage on the beach. Luckily, I could pay with my card at the nearby restaurant. I guess the restaurant gives her the money. But that was also just a really lovely chill day. And then I asked around and I caught the next bus going back to the port. The last stop where we disembarked from the ship was in San Pedro Port in Los Angeles. After my 14-night cruise with Celebrity, I enjoyed it so much and I thought it was the perfect amount of time that I was eager to find another deal that was something similar. I happened to find a 14-night Panama Canal deal with Princess Cruises, Island Princess, the old ship, old and small, and I was just so happy to find this deal. So for me, traveling solo, the double occupancy was only $1,000. So for 2 weeks, I thought that was a real bargain, and so I just booked it. I mainly actually booked this cruise because I wanted to acclimate to the American time zone because I was flying from Cape Town, South Africa. And it's a perfect way to acclimate. And I'm so glad that I did this. It turned out to be a very boring cruise line with a much older crowd. I was probably the youngest person on the ship, and the crew all thought that I was part of the crew of the production cast. The people on board also thought that I was part of the crew member. So that was kind of a bit annoying because every day I was probably asked by several people if I work on the ship. But anyway, I used this time to acclimate and to relax. I spent some time in the pool and the sauna and the jacuzzis. They had a band that stays with the ship. I think their contract is like 9 months or so. They were a Chilean band. So I really enjoyed them. They were basically like the highlight of the cruise. And they were nice enough to play any song or sing any song that anybody wanted. I ended up befriending the singer of the band. I did meet some wonderful ladies at the wheelhouse bar, but for most of the cruise, I spent it alone. So it was a nice way to just relax and acclimate. I'm not really a fan of princess cruises. I guess because I was spoiled and I'm so used to Celebrity. But I guess for the purpose that I was doing the cruise, it was fine. But I don't think I'll ever do another princess cruise again. It wasn't really my cup of tea. The only good thing I can say about the ship was the food was good. It was outstanding every day, in the buffet especially. They didn't offer complimentary lobster like Celebrity does. You actually had to purchase that. So I was disappointed. And then I did like that they offer popcorn for the movie nights on the pool deck. Another thing that I found interesting about this cruise is that they, instead of a card, they have a medallion with your name on it that you can use, and they can basically find you anywhere on the ship. Like if you order a drink, they can find you through the medallion. So it was interesting to see that new technologies that they're coming out with. The medallion would also open your cabin door. It would sense the medallion and then the door would just unlock. So that was easy. I didn't have to look for a card to open my cabin door. But I felt like it was also very unsafe as a female traveler traveling solo. It also has your name on the door. So if you're wanting to stay private, I'm not sure if you can get them concierge to take your name off, but everybody can see your name and your picture on the door of your cabin. But there's also all kinds of accessories that they sell on board where you can keep the medallion, like necklaces and watches, which I also thought was really cool. The entertainers that they had as guest performers were also really boring. The only thing that I did like was that they had a opera show. So this was something very unusual that I've never seen before. So I enjoyed the opera. But other than that, really boring. The theater was also so small and it filled up really quickly. And usually I don't have any problems finding a seat because I'm usually alone, so I can squeeze in anyway. For the most part, the theater filled up because it was so tiny. And most of the time when I was watching the shows, I ended up standing in the aisle or sitting on the staircase. I guess entertainment is not the main thing. But other than that, the staff were very friendly and hospitable. They gave very good service. I'm trying to find good things about Princess. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.